I didn't really do any sort of promo or anything for this one. So, you know, people may you may catch it on the first time out, or you may catch it when I come back. I mean, on the replay. So yeah, I needed to build on something. You know, my spirit was connecting with the greater spirit, and there were some things to be spoken on that I needed to address, or need to be addressed rather. It doesn't have to be for me. You know, there's a lot of confusion going on right now that I've been noticing, and you know, I'm not reacting or responding to say confusion. You know, in terms of what went on last, well, this past Friday, which would be 6/6, 2022, 6/24, 2022. Peace, Shade. Peace, Nikki Love. You know, um, so I've been noticing some things being shared, and you know, certain voices that are speaking now in terms of explaining some of what the implications are of this decision that's come forth. And I felt it pertinent to build on that, just you know, just a little bit, as much as we need to build on it, man, because um, critical things that happen, and we start immediately getting interpretations about those things from people even on our frequency. It's similar to like when the media accuses someone who we may see as being part of our community, and they accuse them of something, and then we immediately say, "Oh, look what they did. They did this, or look, they did that," without realizing that that's your enemy saying that they did that. You know, so when have you ever believed whatever they had to say? You know, so it's kind of similar with this. You know, there was a decision that was overturned uh, this past Friday, and a lot of people have a lot of things to say about why and what it means, and going forward, how you know people have to position themselves, and you know, not to say that one person, myself, has the answer or anything like that, but I'm hearing a lot of things that ain't the answer. And I'm hearing primarily what's not the answer. And sometimes people can use certain words that have power to emotionally trigger people who just don't know, or who maybe it kind of flew by and they didn't see, right? So before I get into that, it's not even before, precursor, right? So this past Friday, I released a 6 song EP by the name of Hard On, right? And you know, even right before I did it, I didn't speak about it too much before I did it, other than to give disclaimer for people who thought they were going to be tuning in and listening to meditations and chants and so forth and so on. I wanted them to know that yeah, it is that, but it's a different sort of meditation. It's a different sort of chanting that you may hear, and you may consider it to be explicit. You may consider it to be pro. You may consider it to be vulgar, whatever. But revelation of truth is important for all of us, you know. And peace, everyone in the chat, man. You know, greetings, good dawning to you all. You know, all you early risers. You know, especially those of you I don't hear from too often, man. So peace to you all. I see all of you. But yeah, so I released Hard On noon. It's on Nikki Love. It should be on Amazon Music. It's definitely on Spotify. It's on iTunes, Apple Music, Bandcamp. Um, yeah, it's on Deezer. It's on a bunch of platforms. You know, but the what I'm saying about it is that you know the concept of the project. I'm not here just to really talk about the project, but it's a larger thing I'm speaking about here. Is about really peace, Cassie Dern. It's about us coming together, right, and not just coming together. No pun intended. You know, about us really looking at the value of our sexuality that we've been shamed out of because we've been listening to Babylon, preachers who are caught up in dogma, cornballs, and those who have no sensual or carnal creativity. So a lot of times we come up with certain stigmas about, what you can do, what you can't do, and no one really provides any backing for it, but it may just be something that they find off-putting for themselves, or they may not be bold enough to say this is what I'm into, and it may be taboo or maybe a stigma associated with it. So I'm going to tell you not to be into it, just to be on the safe side. And they don't really back it up with anything, right? So as a result, a lot of times when we choose to live a more consciously aware existence and a life that reflects the righteousness that we're looking to emulate, that we find within nature, we find within our creator, we find within our maker, we feel immediately that now the fun has to end. Or especially as it pertains to sex, things have to get really, really vanilla in order for us to stay within the lines of not enjoying our physical experience too much and keeping things as spiritual as we possibly can, right? And that's just not what it is. Period. So that project I released starts to look at some of those things. So in that project, I'm speaking about kink, I'm speaking about BDSM, I'm speaking about master slave relationships, I'm speaking about ownership, um, harem life, you know, and it's autobiographical, right? So some people may listen to it and just be like, okay, I wouldn't expect that from a chief and a babalao and a teacher and all of that. And then others may pick up on the frequency, right? Now let me just share. I didn't know that decision was going to be overturned, you know, June 24th, right? But that was my day that I was told via spirit, via transmission, release on this day, and release at noon, right? So I did what I do. I listen and then I obey, right? And I didn't, do like I said, a whole lot of fanfare where it was like, yeah, check it out and took it, because I don't do that really with any of the other stuff that I do. To be honest, I like, if you find it, it's for you to find. For most stuff, it's for you and enjoy it, and I'm happy that you found it. Um, so with that being said, the decision came through, right? Now let's look at something for a second here. The decision came through to uh, ban the aborting of babies in, you know, on the federal level, and then now certain states have now decided to comply with that federal law, right? And there are people who are up in arms about it, understandably so. Um, it's just the things that they decide to be up in arms about. And sometimes because we tend to follow lower vibration, because we take certain things for granted, it's like us as a divine line. Sometimes we forget that the creator actually has a bloodline, not only a physical bloodline, but a spiritual bloodline. Sometimes we forget that. And those who sometimes remember it, they get caught up in, well, I'm a part of that bloodline. So they think that they don't really have to do anything. They don't think that there also has to be a faith instilled, and there also has to be charisma and an encouragement towards the principles and doctrines I live by. I don't have to do any of that because I'm a part of the chosen people. I'm a part of the special people. Um, and as a result, they tend to give things away all the time. We tend to look at other people and say, I'm going to go do some of that, or I'm going to do some of that, or some of that, because of the fact that I could pretty much do what I want. It's similar to the story of the prodigal son, right? A lot of you know that story, where he decided he wanted to go out, take my inheritance, spend it up, go live riotous, and didn't work out for him. Comes back home, his pops accepts him, and his greatest joy was in his pops accepting him, because at the end of the day, um, he left because he was like, well, I'm already good, and you didn't really realize what you had. You didn't really realize that that accepting and that pleasing from your father is really the key. And there's so many other nations that wish they had what you had. Everybody wants to be Abraham's son. Everybody ain't Abraham's son. So they'll even lie and tell you, "Oh yeah, I'm the seed of Abraham. Yeah, yeah. Israel is my father. Jacob's. Yeah, uh-huh." They'll lie because everybody wants to be in that family and can't be in that family. But a lot of times, those who are in that family, they take it for granted, and they end up chasing after all the stupidity of the nations. So a decision will come out, and those who are in that family who don't participate in that anyway will be up in arms. I want my babies, and I want more babies. In fact, that's part of what that this music project and the book that I'm finishing up, and the class on sexual alchemy. That's a part of what all of this is about. I sensed a new dispensation from last year. Like, okay, it's time for us tribal people to bring forth another generation, right? So that's been heavy on me, and a lot of the work that I've done and things have been imbued and saturated agenda multiply to deliver my seed to more vessels and to extend my even further again. Why? Because I can. Okay, I can and I should and I want to, you know. So if I'm listening to Babylon, Babylon be like, "Oh man, you should be done, and you too old, or whatever. Or, you want more children." I've heard women say that about other men. He want more children. Yeah, he wants more children. Yeah, right. And we're at the point now where, at least for me, I don't even explain or convince anymore. I'm done. If you don't know by now who we are, if you don't know by now what we do, you're not gonna know. Not in this lifetime, because there's too much information that's been made available, and there's too many amazing individuals who have taught who we are and what we do, and how that even to evolve to match and keep up with the changing times. And if you still on some, Babylonian thought, I really don't have much to say to you. You know, I'm not wasting my time with you, right? So that's why you don't really see me do a bunch of segments on polygyny and harems and things like that. I'm not sitting and explaining and listening. Well, can I have more than one? Can you take more than one? What about jealousy? I'm answering those stupid questions. We are so far beyond that nonsense, because those are all Babylonian questions from a low. I don't deal with that. You know what I mean? So there's certain, and this and why, because I know who I am. I know what I'm supposed to be doing. I know who my ancestors are, and I know what my bloodline has already given momentum towards. Right? So a decision like that comes out, I know that it's not for me, because there's never a time that Babylon or the government will ever put forth a decision that works in my benefit. Whatever those people do, those parasites do, they do for themselves. I'm very clear on that. So I never look at it like, how is this going to affect? It doesn't affect me, because I already know what I'm here doing. I'm here bringing women in, let them know from the beginning, hey, you walk in the park with me, you walk on the beach with me, you probably gonna leave with the big belly, because I'm that potent right now because of what the creator has placed on me, right? So based upon that, there's a lot of thought and ideas that come forth. So I released the music, Hard On, right? Now, what is it about? Exactly what the title says. These are the things that arouse me. These are all the different ways that I produce. These are all the different ways that I join in and connect, right? These are the things that I am into, right? And they're all lawful. None of them are a transgression of the divine law. Not one thing. That's in. So for any of you who have listened to it or are gonna listen to it, like, whoa, he talk about tying people up, and but that's what I'm into. Okay, so and I am a law keeper. I don't do foul, wicked, um, perverted, devious things. Well, maybe I do. Yeah, I do some perverted things, but I don't do anything that's a transgression of the law. Period. Okay, so um, with that being said, I release Friday, right? And then Friday the decision comes. I thought it was so beautiful when I looked at it, but then I started hearing all of these different reasons as to why the decision came, and I'm like, y'all ain't getting it. Y'all are not getting it. Y'all, you functioning from a book that's not even the real playbook. You're lost in what you're saying. Um, so whereas on that day I put out something that promotes family creation, I put out something that promotes sensuality, sexual enjoyment between righteous people in a marital setting. So it's not about just meeting somebody on the street or whatever, and we're gonna go, lick all over each other and bite all and suck everything, and it's not about that. It's about, no, this is a righteous union, and within this righteous union, let's have some fun. Okay? We don't necessarily have to suppress that part of us because now we have come into higher awareness. Because a lot of times that's a lie, and then it comes out in other ways that are more destructive when you're not honest and truthful about what you're coming to the table with. About, hey, these are the things that take me to a certain level. Maybe somebody likes to be choked. Yeah, when I'm choked, I start to go into trance. And then when I go into trance, I start to see these visions. Can you choke me? Oh, well, we not supposed to do that. Who says who? Who says that you can't choke her? She wants to be choker. It's okay. She see the numbers are dropping, dropping, dropping. That's okay though. She wants to be spanked, whatever. So my point I'm saying, and the book gets into that a little bit more, a lot more actually, where I break down what's permissible, what's prohibited, because some things are prohibited. It's not a free for all where you could do anything, right? So, but what I'm seeking to encourage is relationships, marriages, spiritual unions, and helping people to understand that, you know, um, this pious image that we've been given by the Catholic Church, because a lot of what we do still comes from that. Even when we call ourselves woke or extra spiritual, whatever, a lot of our understanding still comes from Catholicism as far as what we do. Even those who participate in ATR or African traditional religions, a lot of it is still Catholic. My godfather, my godmother, my padrino, that's all Catholicism. You see, even how you interact with these nature forces, a lot of it is based on Catholicism. So we have our own tribal way. We have our own ancestral mores. We have um, traditional and sacred ways as it stands across everything. The way we eat, the way we talk, the way we dance, the way we sing, the way we sex, all up in a cultures and all those things. You see? So um don't make the Orisha mad is what they say, right? Because they are dumb and they take dumb information, and when you have a very small mind, what has to happen with a small mind, you have to fit everything that you experience in the world has to fit in this tiny little space. That's why it's hard to be around small-minded people if you are a big thinker, because you can't get in there. Your mind is this small. How am I going to fit in there? There's no room. So I'm in there cramped, So because your mind is so small, you got to trim what you consider to be extra to get it to fit. So let me just think about the Orisha as if they're humans. I'm going to relate them to me. I'm going to make everything me because that's easy. I can fit more things in if I narcissistically impose what I am onto everything. The dog is me. The flower is me. You're me. You see, instead of being able to look at things and say, no, that's its own diverse shade. That's its own thing over here. This is its own thing over here. And my mind has the potential to look at it all and enjoy all of it. You see, that's the amazingness of even a polygynous mind, where I you might have 7 or 8 or 9 or 10 women, and you're not just looking at them as one woman. You recognize I got 10 relationships plus the children that come from the in-laws, and I can function, differently for each one when you're doing it properly, and you don't just have a bunch of girlfriends or whatever, right? So let's so my whole thing on that day, Spirit told me promote family, promote sex. I gave it to you. It's enjoyable. You know, so you're asking, can you work with other gods while in the Orisha religion, Chief? What I want you to do right now is follow what I'm saying. Well, questions. Let's just chill for that for a second. Listen to what I'm saying. Be on code, because the problem right now is people are not on code. You see what I'm saying? So everybody's got their own agenda. I'm coming in to get a little bit of this. I'm coming in to get a little bit of that, and that's our problem. You see, we're so off code that we think that the only way we can relate to people is through skin color, as if skin color connects us to people around the world. How silly is that? You see, the Tower of Babel, when language was confused, that was needed. Because if you and I can't speak the same language, then what connects us? What connects us is the spirit that we both have inside of us. So we have to get on that same spiritual frequency. And a lot of times that's difficult because you got so many voices in your ear. That. You see what I'm saying? So let's get on the same spiritual frequency. Let's do that, right? And once we can do that, even if it's for a millisecond, then we can start moving mountains. And it also lets you know who's your family and who's not, because some people can't get on the frequency no matter how much you try. That's why I said at this point, I'm not having certain conversations about, hey, where we really from, right? And I'm done. I'm done. Okay. So from here, it's about, okay, you're in. Now let's cultivate how we expand and augment how we're already in, and how we go beyond that. Forget your agendas. Follow what I'm talking about, because I'm bringing you somewhere that you need to be. Okay, I'm bringing you some two words you even use: Orisha and religion. I'm bringing you somewhere you need to be, because everything has to evolve. Every truth evolves and expands. That's why the universe expands. You can't be on the same thing for 30, 40 years and thinking that there's some great honor in that. There has to be growth. You could pass the baton for the next cat, like, yo, boom, this is what I got. I wrote it out for you. Boy, you gonna stay here and teach me for no. It's written out for you. I got to go to the next world and do my next thing. And there's an elevation, 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 because at the end of the day, you have to get to the point where you're not dependent on so many different things. You see, I'm not dependent on this spirit and that spirit, and I got to go to the water, I got to go to the mountain, I got all these dead animals in my yard from all these ebos, and that's a stage, and you have to get to a point where you evolve to that. I've been telling you that for over 10 years now. I'm not going to keep, I'm not saying it anymore. If you notice, I'm done with that. I've been telling you, either you listen or you don't. So, sex, we got to get back to our sacred sexual rights, because we have been terrified and traumatized out of it, through the proliferation of STDs, through the proliferation of dilapidated economies. We're afraid to have children now because I can't afford any babies, right? And we're not looking at the larger picture. Sometimes you have to step back and look at the bigger picture. And this is what I'm talking about. You know, um, why did I do a 6-song EP, right? Why did I release on that day? June 6, 2022. Let's do the numbers, because the numbers never lie. June is the 6th month. June 24, not 6, I'm sorry. 24, 2 plus 4 is 6. 2022, 6. June 24th, 2022, 666. Six song EP, right? Just happens to be 666 is the day that they overturned. I don't want to really say it because I don't want the algorithm. I don't want to be mixed in with all the other videos. You know what I mean? Like, I know everybody's doing their videos now because they want to get points and subscribers off of that. Y'all here. Most of you on it, I know you. I know Nikki Love, I know Royalty, like, Tawana. You know what I mean? So I'm rocking with those who've been able to last and for this long to get what we've been talking about and what we doing. So this ain't really about me trying to get any extra hits, anything like that. This is about me trying to make sure you don't fall for the trap. People are listening like, the Democrat now, people gonna vote. That ain't got nothing to do with us, what we doing. Ignore that. I'm gonna tell you what it's about. And the fact that I released that project in such a provocative, I'll say, project on the same day, I didn't know I just knew I followed what spirit, do it here, boom, 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 6 songs, it's man quick. It's only gonna be like 30 minutes. 6 songs, all right, 6 songs, you know, um, and the thing about it is this. So if you step back and look at the bigger picture for a second, like I said, you've been scared out of family. You've been scared out of making children. You've been scared out of raising your own children. You know what I mean? Like, not just after I'm scared to even raise them because of all the things that have been put in front of me. Why? And why the decision? Right? Well, again, look at what I did and then look at the opposite. I told you whenever they do something or tell you do this, do the opposite. The same thing when they tell you to hate somebody. Whoever they tell you to hate, who's they? The government. Whenever they tell you to hate somebody, study that person because I'm telling you, that person has keys to your liberation. You know, there's a person, there's a person that's really good to study that you probably would be scared to even go buy a book on him. He had a funny little mustache that went like this, and his initials were AH. Don't type it in the chat. His initials were AH. He had a funny little mustache like this, a little Charlie Chaplin mustache. He's a good person to study. Big person to study. He's a master of the MK Ultra program. It was actually him. Occult and esoterics. We could get into it, right? But we're not gonna get into it here. Do not type his name in the chat if you figure out who it is. All right. Um, but these are the people you really should be studying, and they tell you, no, you gotta hate them, hate them. Don't. Let me find out what the story really was, because once you find out what the story really was, like, why are you not telling me to hate King Leopold? Like, why shouldn't I hate him? you know, or De Beers, dudes who went into South Africa and went berserk. Went into the Congo and went berserk. Don't hate them, but hate the other one. And what he did wasn't even on this landmass. He did it somewhere else, and he was financed by the people who he did it, allegedly, right? So anyway, we're not off into that. So what I'm saying is that you have people who have been trying a lot of things to keep you from coming back to where you're supposed to come back to, right? So you sitting there figuring out why they keep shooting us down in the streets, and why they keep giving this food that's killing us, and why they keep uh, dirtying up our water, and all these different things. Basically, just ask the question: why do they keep trying to exterminate us? That's really the question, right? A lot of it has to do with who you are, the tribe that you come from, your tribe. And when you line certain things up and you see like, yo, boom, boom, boom. Kind of like what Nat Turner did. Like, oh, this is us, you know. But we look at that six for a second, and let's look at the value of the six, right? So of course, six, the letter S, and sex are all the same thing. They all come from the same root. Six, sex, the letter S, and then of course the serpent, right? So even if you were to say 666, you could also say SSS, or you could also have the image of three serpents. It would be the same thing. And we look at the divine value of six for a second. Obviously, we have 6 days of work before we have 7 days. When you look at the Tanakh, it speaks about someone being a slave for 6 years and then on the seventh day being set free. Now, I want to also explain something to you about slavery in ancient times, especially in Hebraic code. Do you know that slavery? Remember when Mr. West said slavery is a choice, and everybody got mad at him? Well, if he would have just put another word in there, they would have got really mad. Really, ancient slavery in Hebraic code was a choice. So, in those times, the slave was not considered to be property, but rather, and you could choose to serve, and it was a ritual that you would go to the temple, and you might get piercing and things like that, and it would be documented. This person wants to be in possession. You know, they want to be in my house as this, right? So when even when we talk about kink, we talk about BDSM, you know, um, if I'm a master and a slave, we've sat down and discussed. This one has said, I want to serve you in a sort of way, and I want you to be my master, and I want a master slave relationship. You know, so there was some nuances to that a lot of people are uncomfortable with because we deal with so much emotion, and when we hear certain words, we get triggered and we don't dig, and that's what's supposed to happen. That's the trick, you know. So we look at that sacred value of six, and then we understand that that's a time where we are bound by the body. So the concept of slavery, what it means in a spiritual sense, is that's body servitude. So you are a slave to your flesh. And not meaning like I have addictions and things like that, but like my spirit, where it would normally have been free, it is now enslaved inside of this carcass, inside of this physical thing. And then in the seventh year, or the sabbatical year, or the holy year, or the holy time, it's set free, right? So you look at people when they die, that's a form of Sabbath. That's a form of a seven for them because they've now broken the seven seals. They're free. But during that sixth time, we're locked into the carbon. Six is the number for carbon, too, of course, many of you know. So we're locked into the carbon. That's why it says 666, the number of man, right? So that six is a valuable thing because what it speaks about, especially when you see it in triplet like that, when you see a number and it's doubled or it's tripled, it strengthens it increases the strength of it. But when you see a triple number, it because remember we live on a planet of threes. Three is the divine number here. From the sun, everything is three. The trinities, you know, it's all about three here. Three is that number. So when you see it tripled like that, what it's saying is that when you get to the point that you have maximized the value and the potential of your flesh, you're about to be free. You're about to come into that space of freeness. You see, it's very similar, and I'm gonna go back to sex because that's what we on. You know, when you get to that point when you're really in lock and sync with your mate and your lover, and this sometimes happens when you're not even having physical sex. It could be a bill session, and it comes a point where you don't feel your body. You know, you just feel like there's a weightlessness, there's a timelessness. You know, I know a lot of times for me, I can't remember what I saw. You know, they have it sometimes, and it gets to a point where it's like you kind of go blind for a couple minutes, you know, um, and sometimes that's because it could just be me, or there's a precursor like I'm not really seeing colors, you know, and when you really get to the point where you are really entwined and your serpents have really, or your spines have really connected, and that circuit gets closed, and it's like, where am I? You know, until there's that release of the death, you know, and then you slowly come back into your body, It's like, oh, okay, I'm in the projects. No, but you get what I'm saying, though, right? So that six value is representative of now we get into that point. When he gets to that triple like that, we're about to combine ourselves with the true body. You see what I'm saying? So it's very similar if you look at John 2:6 or Yon 2:6 or Ion 2:6. John, again, remember there's no J's. So it would be Ion or on like Anu or Yon, But if you look at the book of On, which means light, right? So if you look at the book of light, chapter 2, verse 6, again, look at the multiples of six. You read about Yeshua at the wedding, right? Now, when you see the wedding and he's turning water into wine, a lot of times we just focus on the water into wine part, but there's so much mathematics in that verse. You got to just know how to look at it. And again, when you're of that seed, you do know how to look at it. That's when some people are like, well, Chief, how you pick up this? How you pick up that? Because it's in my blood, dog. Like I'm related. I'm related to this entity that you've been reading about. Like that's my pops. You know what I mean? Like I said, everybody want to be Abraham's pops, but everybody ain't Abraham's pops. You know what I mean? Um, or they want Abraham to be their pops. So when there's a marriage of masculine and what that represents most of the time in our mythology or in our scripture, that's the masculine of the spirit and the soul. As the feminine or the woman typically will represent the soul energy, the masculine will represent the spirit energy. So when you read stories about, oh, there was a wedding, it means that the spirit is now finally combining with the soul purpose. You see, that's what that represents. But now, what does it mean when Yeshua is sitting there in the audience? It means that who you was getting ready to marry was Fugazi. So now the real spirit is showing up. So the woman was about to marry somebody who, at that wedding, who wasn't, he wasn't the ism. He wasn't really real. So then Yeshua shows up, and he's sitting there like, yo, we ran out of wine. So what is it? What is it saying that we ran out of wine? It's saying that there's nothing special about us anymore. We have exhausted our specialness. We have exhausted our ability to take the spirit beyond where it's at. Because once I become inebriated, you see, if I'm drinking wine and my spirit becomes inebriated, it's taken over by something. But now, if I have Yeshua or the Christ consciousness that now inebriates my spirit, that means I am completely drunk. I'm completely saturated in that particular consciousness. You see? So remember when he makes the water out of wine, what does he say? He says, go get me 6 containers. Six, because six was the number of containers that they would use back then for the purification rites. See what I'm saying? Why am I using 6 containers for purification rites? Because we're dealing with your 6 days of activity. And understand when we say days, we're not talking about like 24 hours. We're talking about seasons. We're dealing with your 6 seasons of activity that now take us into our Sabbath where we get freed up. So he's like, yo, give me 6 containers. I'm going to take this water that you had, which is just plain and ordinary. Your spirit it wasn't really doing anything, wasn't nothing exciting about you. It's kind of like vanilla sex versus kink sex. And I'm going to turn it into this kinky wine. I'm going to turn it into that thing that's now takes you to the next level, that thing that was exciting, you see, through these 6 vessels. So the 6 has so many connotations. Even if you look at the astrological form, 6 is representative of Venus, right? And Venus is what? Venus is the archetype of marriage. Venus is the archetype of coming together. Also signified by the air or by with the air, of course, is freedom. Also Libra. It connects to the value of Libra as well, which is liberty. You see, so we're just focused on Friday, which was 6242022 666, right? Now let's look at the first 6, June. Where do we get the month of June from? Well, from the Roman archetype Juno, right? Juno would correlate with Athena and even Hera as well. But Juno was actually the archetype. Juno had her own doctrine, right? So Juno was a part of the pantheon of those deities, but actually had her own book. Like you could just have Juno as your high deity to have all the other deities along with it if you want it. It could just be Juno, right? So when we looking at the month of June, what did Juno represent? Juno represented um, coming together. Juno represented marriage. Juno represented agreement. You see? So again, we look at it again. Because why would they pick this day, June 24th, 2022, 666? You see? Now you might look at 666 and say, oh, that's Satan's number and all. Nah, that's the baby information. Like that's the information you told when they want to keep you away from things and keep you scared of things. You see what I'm saying? No, that number is picked because they're trying to reverse something that's happening. So when the spirit tells me, yo, release this project about the stuff that you're into, man, I don't want these cats to know I'll be doing all kinds of stuff and having all sorts of fun that they couldn't even imagine. I don't want them to know that. They looking at me like I'm probably asexual. You know, let them know. Let the truth come out. Why? Because there's a bunch of other of you ain't the only one. There's a bunch of other people out there like that who are scared to be honest about who and what they really are. Not that I'm scared, because I ain't scared. You know what I mean? I'll lead you around in public on a leash. I am not. But the point I'm saying is that certain things you figure out, hey, it's private. It ain't really about nobody else. You know what I mean? If she want to call you daddy or whatever, she wants you to pick her up, hold her against the wall and whatever. Yeah, I know how you are, royalty. Let's just, So the point I'm saying is that you're doing that on this day of 666, six sex. Six and sex are the same word. Again, remember that. Six sex, serpent, the letter S, they're all the same word. They're all the same symbol, you see? And again, with that value of the six, like I said, representing the Venus energy, which is the coming together. Even sacred Odu, we have the energy of Owonrin. And Owonrin is when you are now coming into your place of royalty through your coming out of the Irosun. Irosun is the fifth Odu. And Irosun, Ire Oshun. Ire of Oshun is Irosun. So the fortune of Oshun, or the fortune of that releasing, Oshun is the releasing of the blood or the affection and the emotions of the moon. Because Irosun is actually Osu. Osu means moon in Europe. So Irosu or Irosun, Irosun or Iroshun, right, brings us to Owo is eyes, bring us to Omin. See, so that six energy being so strong, now they say we're going to overturn this thing, but the Most High tells his son, yo, release the release your heart on project on that, and the first song is the first word you're going to say is welcome to my king, right? Because here's the thing, again, why they keep shooting us down in the street and why they can't, because they can't catch up. They can't catch up to you. That's why. Meanwhile, they're dwindling. They're dwindling at such a rate that they now have to force their women to hold on to their future soldiers because they're dwindling at such a fast rate. And it's not really so much about the women as much as it is about the men and the poor quality of their seed, the poor quality of their semen. You know why? Because their women will find a mandingo. Yeah, I'm gonna take this trip and I'm going to Nigeria with my friend Karen. We're going to Nigeria. Yeah, I met someone in Nigeria. Yeah, he's a nice guy and everything. They know when to seek out the mandingo. They know when to seek out the mandingo because you look at them now, and those of us who are a little older, we know the difference. They didn't have yams back in the days. Let's just say what it is, right? And if you go even further back, go to the 60s and the 50s, it was, you know what I'm saying? Now they all from Miami. A lot of them is from Miami, especially when you go into the South. Now, why is it all of a sudden and so quickly they evolved, you know what I'm saying, into these Miamians? Because they need to be attracted to the Mandingo. You see, the Mandingo now. Oh, wait a minute. Because what is the first thing we say, brothers? She got a John like a sister. Yo, she from the back. I thought that was a da, 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 da. You see, so that's because they know we got to change our aesthetic up because the value of our dudes is it ain't hit. We ain't getting nothing from this. We need some Colin Kaepernicks. You see what I'm saying? So let's go search out the Mandingo and let's go make ourselves a Drake. You see? So what's happening and what people are not picking up on because they're not realizing the spiritual story that's happening here. People are looking at, and I'm saying even people who are supposed to be invested in higher awareness, they're looking at the political story. It's the Democrats and it's the Republicans. It's not that. It's not that at all. What it is this. Yehuda, or some of you know as Judah, which is a tribe, is getting ready to transfer authority. Because these are the things, there's certain things that line up when you get to certain events. And it's like, okay, this is going to happen. Nations rise up against nation. That happens, that happens, that happens. And then Yehuda, who has been completely decimated, who's walking around in complete ignorance of who they are. See, we tell the story all the time, man, about names, religion. Why would they strip you of your clothes? You know, when I was out, I'm sure many of you, when we saw images or we saw shows like Tarzan, they were always naked in the jungle, running around naked. And then when we came into consciousness, we celebrated that. Yeah, see, we didn't need all those clothes because we had the sun and we wanted the sun to hit our melanin and some of that, yeah. I have to strip you of your clothes because your clothes reveal who you are. You see, the headband that was always known to be worn by the Israelites, I got to take that off. I'll tell you, maybe I might let it slip out that that was a Moorish image. And the Moors always use that image of the headband. That was a Hebrew image. You see, and when you go to certain parts of South Africa, which I have been, when you go to certain parts of West Africa, which I have been, you still see the same kind of dress. You still see the sisters with the cowrie shell anklets. Where do you think cowrie shell anklets came from? That was Hebrew fashion. Cowrie shell anklets, headbands. You see? So I gotta strip you of your clothes. Not just your I gotta take all these names. All of y'all are coming on this boat and you got Yah in your name. Even your deities, Oya. All of y'all coming with these Yahs in your names and these L's in your name. We gotta take that off. Get rid of that. We'll take that. Yeah, my name is Tobias. Your name was not Tobias. That your name was not Obadiah. Stop lying. Your name was not Jeremiah. Your name was not Isaiah. My name was Isaiah. Or Yahya is what it would really be. My name was Jeremiah. You threw that J in the try to throw me. My name was Jeremiah. See? So even when we started having our babies, we started still flipping it. What's your name? Shayla, Kaya. Where that name come from? What it mean? I don't know what it mean. That's just what they name me, Kaya. You see, we started all these Shahs and Yahs in our name because it was already in our blood to lean in that sort of direction. And then we had these agents in our neighborhoods tell us that those were ghetto names. Why would you name your son something like that? I don't know. It's just something I felt like I should have named him. I don't know what it means. I don't know what Ramel means or Ramik means. Why y'all got Ra in your name? We the sun people, sucker. That's like, why all the girls Shah something or Shay something? Shah, because Shah is Allah's enforcer, the Sharif. You took that name when you started calling yourself the sheriff and used that five-pointed star. You know where you got that star from, and you know where you got that name from. You see, that's mine. So what's happening now is that there's a transfer that's happening. So because of the transfer, and Yehuda, how many people now are waking up and, even let's look at the conscious circles for a second. when they started those foolish debates, and all the conscious people was getting their their behinds kicked by the Hebrews, and a lot of the Hebrews was not even bringing correct information, but the conscious people were that idiotic. And I'm saying the conscious people, you know, I don't want to name names. I don't want to do that. I don't like starting trouble, but they were so clownish and really just after the dollar that it was easy to come in and wash them. It was easy. You see what I'm saying? So the thing that I'm saying is that when you find where the intelligence and where the spirit is going, you got to move with that flow. And things evolve. Your foundation may still remain the same. My foundation still says I can look at spirits of water, spirits of air, spirits of electricity, and control them. You call them what you want to control them. I still I control them. And I still do at will when I want. I can move around all the time with my children. That's the game we used to play. They flat your back and turn around into what you want to turn it into. That's what my children were. You see, they weren't raised on TV and video games and stuff like that. We're gonna go Bible, we're gonna go camping, we're gonna lay on our back, we're gonna start manipulating clouds. Then probably later tonight when we go light the fire, we're gonna have our sticks and incense, and he's gonna show us how to use our minds to make incense go to the right. You see? So there are people who see that and say, damn man, they getting back on the sciences of their ancestors. We got to do something. See, we got to do something. So what do? Okay, we have to first try to emasculate them. First try to scare them away from each other. Tell them that there's none of them left. Ain't no more men left. There's no more women left. So you might as well just hang it up. You might as well just go the MGTOW route. Okay, MGTOW is cool. But MGTOW, you know, I'm just supposed to pay for prostitutes now the rest of my life. Nah, that's not my culture. That's not where I come from. You know, I'm not tricking off just because I can't figure out how to put a woman under me. Yeah, that's what it is. Because I can't figure out, because I don't come with an energy that's larger than life to make her say, you know what? Drop her head and say, yes, master. Go listen to the music, right? Because I don't have the power and strength or the dominance across the horizontal field to do that. Now I'm going to go pay. So I'm going to end up being a trick who pays for fancy. Y'all, that's cool for y'all, but that's not my oldest profession, you see? Because I'm older than you. So you can't tell me what my oldest profession was. There's no birth when I first showed up. We know when you came around. Okay, so into your clock, the same way you're looking at the division, and I'm seeing people who's supposed to be conscious up in arms. What does it have to do with you? We want our babies. Okay? Even when you look at the most idiotic forms of our entertainment, we don't hate our babies. The idiotic forms, we don't hate our babies. Look at any sitcom and look at a labor scene in any major sitcom. They hate that baby and they hate the person who put it in them. They're screaming and hollering, going crazy, going berserk. Oh, get it out, calling it. Looking at the husband, squeezing his hand. I hate you. I hate you. You did this to me, and it's not supposed to be. Fun. I delivered two of my. I delivered me and my console. The first because we was waiting for the mid. It was taking forever. We did it ourselves. You see what I'm saying? I love my babies, and nobody was screaming and going crazy. I mean, you don't hate me. You love me. I know you love me. Look at what I put inside of you. You see, look at what I gave you. You don't hate me, and I don't hate you. You know, we're not opposite sex. We're complementary sex. You don't make me whole, and I don't make you whole, but we still complement each other. You see? So when you're looking at these things, I don't want you to get tricked. I don't want you to fall for game, but I want you to see how frantic others are. It's like the word says, "I'll take the foolish things of this world and confound the wise." You see, there are people who think they know everything. They look at everything. I know that that's just but it's that. Nah, it's something foolish. These people are struggling. They're trying to lock down wounds now. That ain't gonna work. It's not gonna work. It ain't gonna work because there's a spiritual timeline happening here, and because you despise spirit so much, because you wanted to be in this family, and you could have been in this family because there was a time when our information was released to the world, and there were some people in the world that said, "Hey, man, I may not have a blood connection, but you know what? I have the belief, and I'll get in. I'll get in just off of belief." That works. It'll work. You can get it. You can get in off of belief. You see, because even the word will tell you, without faith, it's impossible to please Yah. You see, so that was like a warning to us. Yo, just because you got the bloodline, don't think you're done. Don't think there's nothing for you to do because you have the bloodline. You still have to work. You still have to acknowledge, like, these laws are real, not just because my father told me to do them. There's a reason why I need to do it this way. There's a reason why I have to eat a certain way. There's a reason why I will say the Most High, because I recognize I'm a polytheist. What is a polytheist? I acknowledge that there's many deities, there's many gods. There's more than I can count. But so why would I just any that comes along that can do a magic trick I'm supposed to serve now? No, I'm smarter than that. You see? So I acknowledge, like, yeah, there's many gods out here, you know, but I'm dealing with the most high one. Why? Because I want the best stuff. That's why. I have access to the best. If I have access to the best, why would I not choose it unless I have some level of self hatred going on with me, and I feel like I need to choose something that's less than. You see, so even when you're looking at the overturning of certain decisions and things like that, you're picking the lowest vibration when you I'm gonna get upset. Or no, I'm not having any more children. You know how children are my legacy. That's what they are. They're my legacy. Children are my inheritance, and I am their inheritance. That's what they are. So I don't care what y'all talking about. I don't care what y'all watching on TV. I could care less. Now I'm doing this, right? Because I'm my drive has not changed. 17 now. Now why is that? Why is going on with this guy? That it's still the same, and you got these women around, you got a harem, and you still still wake up in the dawn and what you doing? What you doing? Huh? You downstairs? Or you? Huh? Oh, you making my breakfast? Yo, take a break for a second. Come upstairs. After all these years, because the Jed, where you get the Jedi or the Jed still wants to create and restore balance in the universe. You see, the that tower, the Tekken still says, no, we still have more balance to restore you, yeah? You ain't done, brother. You still have more balance to restore. You still have to spread this thing further. You still have to diversify this thing further because I've given you the wherewithal to do it. I've given you the resources to do it. I've given you the intelligence to do it. I've given you the patience because the older you get, the more patient you get, the more wise you get. So you're more capable now than you were before. Keep going. But if you're listening to Babylon's clock, you stop. And this is not just for men, this is for women. You might say, oh, well, I can't have any. Well, you probably can, and you just don't even believe it, but you probably can. But even if that was the case, how many men do you know that you honor that could use a helping hand? And notice I said men, because there's so many of you who will look at another sister and say, well, I'm going to go over there and help her with her. They ain't hers, they're his. She's raising them for him. So if you see a man that you honor, you could say, hey, I notice you have these children. You got a daughter and we have an affinity together. Your daughter and I, or your son and I, your son, I'm a lawyer. Your son wants to get into law. I'll join your family to help you with these seeds because I want to continue to mother. And I'm even better at it now that I'm 50 or 60 than I was when I was 25 when I first started. I still have more to give being a grandmother. You see, because that's trouble. You know, we're talking about understanding and the balance of power coming that tribal men and women are coming back to the forefront with the way we do things. That's why me releasing that project has nothing to. Yeah, I'm tribal. I'm tribal. I'm savage. I'm primal. You see, so this the Catholic what priest is supposed to be, how I'm supposed to relate to women. You know, sometimes men you laugh when you hear a conversation with sons, and they're like, "You said that to him?" Yo, we talk. We talk. You know, we've been having talks. We had the talk with my children. None of them didn't have to. I started talking about sex with my children when they were like 4 or 5 years old. I started talking about sex. I explained, this is your yoni, this is your staff. I started explaining early, and I wasn't saying that. You took I wasn't doing that. But starting with the body parts. Yeah, you're not like your sister. No, you're not like your brother. No, you can't. All right, sweetheart, you gotta do your skirt. You can put some tights underneath your skirt. I know you want to go on the side with your brother, but something about you that's different than they got. Man, your sister go walk. Don't let anybody mess with her, man. Because you are her covering, and I'm tasking you to do that. And if you don't do that, I'm gonna f you up. These are conversations 5, 6 years. So I never had to sit down and be like, all right, let me talk to you about the birds and the bees. I got to my youth before anybody else did, so they knew from rip. This is the value. Let me look at my pops. Let me look at my mom. I come from beautiful people. I come from intelligent people. I come from creative people. I'm not just letting anybody in my bed. You see, that's not happening because of what I came from. Those tribal understandings where we don't have this immediate lockdown. You know, like I've said before, we'll show fights all day on social media, but we won't show a nipple. You know, you think about it for a second. There have been live broadcasts of murders. In fact, I saw one the other day. There's a woman looking for who shot somebody in Philadelphia and on this side street, point blank. You show me that. But if I put something about sex or something, you remove my post. Why? What are you trying to lock down? What are you trying to prevent me from you trying to prevent from rising, no pun intended, but from rising within my community and my tribe? What are you trying to stop from happening? By making me think, because that's how you control the people, give them your brain, making me think that I have the limited creative potential that you have. Get the hell out of here with that. You see, my assistants and my staff that live on the continent, they just keep going as far as with these babies. Oh, Baba, yeah. So yeah, you know she has had the baby. Wouldn't I didn't know she was pregnant again. I just got a call recently. Yeah, we have had a daughter. Oh, okay. I know why you calling me. You know, I'm supposed to sit a little. With the name, still, you just pumping them out, pumping them out, pumping them out, right? Despite the oppression, because that's my inheritance, that's my legacy. You see, so this little punk, this decision ain't got nothing to do with you. Those of you who are moving in a righteous way and moving with higher awareness, the only thing it has to do with you is somebody trying to even up a playing field that they can't even. That ain't gonna work. It's laughable. I was laughing. I was like, "You really think that's gonna work? That's not gonna work." Because you did too many suicidal things before that. You stupid. Like all the pornography and stuff. So and then you created all these different laws that incentivized insane femininity and feminism on an insane level. So now your men are like, I ain't even doing good here. You know, this is too little, too late now. Meanwhile, the Most High is speaking to men like myself and saying, go get some more women, refine them, because I got a refinement process that's a mother effort. Refine them, get them where they're supposed to be, and it ain't just rubbing sage on you. All right, you clean, let's get into bed. Refine them, get their minds right, give them the big belly. That's somebody's nightmare. That's somebody's nightmare. I already know because my family has been attacked more than once. Because it's a nightmare walking. A bunch of big, strong, gigantic, conscious people, healthy. I can go days without eating because they so full of nutrients. You know what I mean? And then when you know, I know it dropped out. Yeah, they ain't like that one. They still big as hell. Drinking chlorophyll and cucumbers. Well, try to push some soy on them. No, my family we don't eat soy. No, thank you. Tofu? No, we don't eat any tofu. No, we don't. None of that. No. Damn. So you mean basically they could just go in the woods and grow skunk cabbage and still be big as hell? Yeah, yeah. And they're smart. Yeah, yeah. That's a nightmare. So that's what's opening up. And that's what we're being called to be in this time. You see, and recognize that we got to move beyond just what our inheritance and don't get fooled by these things that are happening. In all these different moves of desperation, you got to you got to sometimes step back. I know it's hard because they keep you so stimulated that it's very difficult to step back once in a while and really look at what's happening. You got to do the math. Just like I told you, 666. You reverse the well, six is the number for family. Even in Western numerology, that's the number for family. That's Shango's number. Shango's the energy of virility. That means you about to go make some babies. You about to go make some twins. In fact, you see, we about to go make some twins. I have twins. I'll make some more. I think I could probably make two, three more sets of twins. I got one, but I have a cousin. He had three sets of twins. So it's in my blood. You see? So everything is lining up. You have to look at, like I said, when I spoke recently about the mirror is so important because when you're looking sometimes at another, you're looking at these evil principalities and you're functioning on the frequency of righteousness, you're looking in the mirror. And the mirror is something that does the opposite of everything you do. You hold your left hand up, it shows the right hand. You put, God on your shirt, it shows dog. You see? So when they're showing a certain thing or doing a certain thing, you have to say, well, let me go this way. I'm going this way. There's an impending economic collapse and these different things happening. That just a collapse, economic collapse, inflation. Oh, so you're just telling me everything's about to be on sale. That's really what you're telling me. Oh, everyone's gonna lose their house and the stock prices are down. No, stocks are on sale. Houses are gonna be dirt cheap. So the sale is coming. Oh, I'm celebrating. Great. But you're telling me I'm supposed to be so depressed I want to kill myself. No, because you're the bizarro. You're the reverse reflection of my righteousness. You see? So I just wanted to share that with y'all. Don't be fooled by the nonsense, man. Don't it ain't got nothing to do with you. And aside from what someone's trying to even up. And it's gonna be more efforts because remember they said, let us deal shrewdly with them, lest they multiply in numbers. You remember I broke that scripture down for you guys a while ago. Let us deal, what the word was wisely, but it translates into shrewdly. Let us deal wisely with them, lest they multiply in numbers. You see? So the things that are happening, like I always tell you, the greatest con doesn't come with somebody strong arming you. You strong arm ain't a con. Somebody gritting their teeth, yo, give me your pocketbook. The greatest con comes with a smile and a nice suit, and a beautiful hairdo and some wonderful background music. That's the biggest cons that you're ever going to experience. They always come with a smile, not a grimace. You see, so even what you're seeing right now, which feels like a strong arm tactic, is only setup. It's a Hegelian dialectic. It's only the setup for what's coming next when the savior comes. Well, I can fix this for you if you just would there you go, SSS. You just take this mark, because we tried it with that other thing, and a lot of you weren't interested in, getting the, what I'm talking about, that little that worked for some of you, but it didn't work for a lot of you. But see, what we can do now, once we now lock down these wombs and we get you afraid to reproduce, the next set, the next generation that comes forward will all be fully chemicalized. We'll use that word. Hopefully, you know what I'm talking about. Will be fully chemicalized New World Order soldiers. So we have to do away with like people like me, people who represent the old regime, because the old regime, we're speaking those real, like for instance, my sons are men. I had someone ask me recently and was like, "Yo, what would you do if your son came home?" I'm gonna be careful with my words, but your son came home and was like, "Yo, Baba, I'm a moho. Like, what would you do?" I was like, "My son wouldn't come home. That wouldn't happen." Nah, but nah, it wouldn't happen. Like it won't happen. I know the formulas, how you create certain things. My children haven't been under any MK Ultra mind control. It's not going to happen. My children don't eat food that makes certain things like that happen. They're not exposed to certain things like that would lead to that. That won't happen. I'm not from that place. I'm not from that place, so it won't happen. Like I said before, I'm from the boom bap era. You listen to my music, all the drums is loud and hard. Even on the soft songs. Boom, bap, boom. Cause I'm a man. You see, you ain't got me on auto tune singing and crying about my emotions, singing in alto. I'm a bass. My register is bass baritone. That's where I sing. E knows. That's my engineer right there. Love excels all. Check out his stuff. You know, my vocal range is bass baritone. I'm from the Isaac Hayes. I'm from the Lou Rawls. I'm from the Barry White. I'm from the Larry Graham. I'm from the John Lucian. I'm from that tribe. You see, that's who birthed me. John Lucian, Barry White, Isaac Hayes, Lou Rawls. That's Lou Rawls is my everything. You see what I'm saying? So, and then my drums is hard and gritty and dirty. No matter what the song is, that's what you're gonna get. Hard. I make love to Wu Tang. You know what I'm saying? When it's time, when I light the candles, you know what I'm saying? I'm feeling romantic, whatever. I put on that Raekwon only built for Cuban links. You see, I put on main source. I'm looking at the front door. You see, I don't come from this other thing, so I don't have to. That's not a part of my reality. My son's never going there. I'm a moho. If he did, he'd be playing. Stop playing, man. Stop. Stop joking around, man. It ain't funny. Don't play around like that. You see what I'm saying? So when you are locked into the frequency of your ancestors, the real frequency, and you're not playing these fictional tales of where you're from or you might be from and things like that, and you're not just trying to connect with people through skin color, because that's the trick bag. I'm connecting with you through spirit. You see, I said something recently. Somebody sent a message into my inbox like, "I don't get it, Chief. I don't understand what you were saying." What I said was so simple. How could you not understand it? I was talking about the beauty that comes when you evolve your consciousness. And I was talking about when you're living a righteous life and you stay in meditation with the Most High, how it shows on your body, your visage. And I used the Nation of Islam as an example. I said, look at the brothers and sisters in the Nation of Islam. No one looks old. No one is obese. No one looks ugly. Even if they are ugly, they don't look ugly. That because 5 times a day I'm meditating. I'm connecting with the divine. I had somebody who's like, I'm confused by that statement. So you telling me now, like, it's okay, we should be Muslim? You missing it. You missing it. We connect on spirit. These other lines are man-made. Well, I'm this religion, I'm this, I'm that. Religion comes from religare. It means to bind back to the source. So whatever binds you back to the source, if your source and not your maker, your creator is your source. Your maker, half the time, your maker is the world. The maker could be your job. That's why I might ask somebody, what do you do? Oh, I'm a cop. Oh, that's what makes you. That's where you find your identity. Okay. My creator and my maker are one and the same. See, that's the whole groove that we're trying to get on. So we connect through spirit. You connect to, that's why I can, and somebody put that in the chat earlier, music. I've played music with people on stages who didn't speak any English. The first time I ever did that, I think I was about 15, 16 years old. I was with my father, and there's a guitarist, Tony. And we went to go play together, and Tony came through, and it was Tony and another guy. I can't remember the guy who was with him. But Tony don't speak a lick of English. And amazing guitarist, amazing. And I'm just sitting there floored. He don't speak no English. That was the first time I ever encountered it. And we played together and we did a gig together and everything, got money together. He knew what the money was, you know, and stuff like that, but he ain't speak no English. You see what I'm saying? So we connected on what? Frequencies. We connected on frequency. You see what I'm saying? So that's our connection, man. Like I always tell you, all skin ain't kin. So you might even see people who got skin like yours talking about this overturn. Oh, this means this for us. Who's us? Who you talking about? You ain't talking about me, because it don't mean nothing for me. All it means is that my open enemy is scrambling. They're frantic. That's all it means to me. You trying to lock down your woman's wombs. What? You that scared of me? You trying to lock down your because your numbers is dwindling? You're that scared? Damn. I guess I'd be that scared too. If I did what you did, I'd be that scared too. I'd be scared every day. If I did what you did, shit, yeah, okay, I guess that kind of makes sense. Because even your own woman is looking for the mandingo. Your own woman is rebelling, like, man, you going down, Jack. I ain't going down with you. Your own woman has given up her loyalty with you. Like, nah, I'm going over here with the mandingo. Deshaun, is that Deshaun? Hey, how's it going? Hey, mom, dad, this is my friend Tyrell. Yeah, yeah. No, mom, it's a gold tooth. If that's what it is, it's gold tooth. It's fine, mom. He's cool. He's fine. Relax. You know, why does all his clothes match? Like, why is his shirt yellow, his pants yellow, and his socks yellow? That's just how he dress, mom. Relax. You see, hey, man, sign of the times. We people got to get together. They got to get together and learn each other and know each other. You see. So yeah, man. It is what it is. But like I tell you, man, this is a time for celebration. This is a time now when you look at the things that I'm laughing at. That's messed up because that's stereotypical. But we do pride. I mean, I pride. You look how not even my sons are here. You see how my socks match my shirt? You see that? You don't know nothing about that. Man, I guess I'm. But anyway, so yeah, we have to kind of get to that place, man, where we just separate. Just separate. We've been told already, and stop looking at what these people are doing and thinking that there's anything in it for us that's going to benefit us. There's not. Whatever they do is for their own selfish agenda. Whatever they do is for their own selfish agenda. But there's a spiritual story that's being played out. And when you look at those killings and you look at the brutality, you got to understand that this is frantic activity of a person who knows, damn, my ship is going down. What can I do? Well, I can shoot. I know I can shoot now. I can't do nothing else. I can shoot. You know, and we know how to. And the captain and the commissioner be like, "Well, we do know how to shoot." You see, because I don't know what else to do. Because I sure as hell can't beat them at the spiritual game. I tried that already. That didn't work. We started these Masonic lodges, and we put on the headdress, and we became Egyptologists, and all the Egyptologists is somebody who's trying to put themselves in Egypt. That's the whole job of the Egypt. Because you notice Egyptologists never come out with the truth. They never present the truth to you. They always just show you more and more how they were there and you weren't. Right? So they're looking at it like, damn, they done beat us on every front because we tried to beat them with the spiritual game. We gave them crap religions, and those crap religions freaking liberated them. That wasn't supposed to happen. We didn't know Nat Turner was going to read it and read the front of the book. Damn, And then we tried to take on their mysticism. Couldn't really do that right because it wasn't really written for us, And then they, in the hood, on VHS tapes and C. Freeman L's and Bobby Hemmets are over here breaking down, and the Dr. Benz and our Dr. Clarks and our Acid Hilliers and our Marimba Anis are breaking down Ivan Van Sertima's, I can just keep going, breaking down what we didn't break down, you see, and giving it back to them in a more sensible way. And then one of their greatest minds got the nerve to be an Ethiopian Jew. Oh, goodness. So we didn't beat, we forget the spiritual thing. See, that's one thing about the elite. They know when to abandon a plan. They'll work it and work it and work. Even if it's a bad plan, they'll work it and work it and work it. But they know when a season for something expires. So they don't even try to keep hitting you with that. But they'll make you think they're still hitting you with that. They don't care about your spirituality anymore. Nobody cares. Because they know they can't beat you there. They tried to beat you on that. And they couldn't beat you. The Khazars came forth and said, hey, and Khazar, remember, means people of the snake people. The Khazars came forth and said, okay, well, we'll take the Chosen's tradition. We'll take that. You see, that ain't work. You see, so what do we have left? We could shoot them down. And we can't shoot them down. We can't do that. We could do that. Let's do that then. Well, damn, that ain't working. Because we shooting them down and we giving them all this junk food, and Taquisha is still got 14 babies. Even though there's no father around, and they eating potato chips for dinner, and they're still growing up looking like juggernauts. Well, that ain't working. All right, what we gotta do? All right, well, let's focus on us. Let's focus inwardly then. I get the problem is we're thinking too external. Let's look at our own people. Let's lock the wombs down. You see? So what you see when you see that is just people frantically scrambling to try to make sure that the balance of authority doesn't happen, and it's gonna happen anyway. All right. So this has been Chief Yuya. Thank you so much for doing what you're supposed to do. For those of you who are doing it, don't panic. It's not our time to panic. Our time for panicking already happened. This is our time for building, and most importantly, for squatting up, familying up, raising children, making sure each other are well fed, that our mental welfare is intact, that our spiritual welfare is intact, that we have some level of peace, not bringing drama to each other, things like that. This is a time for that, and getting to that point where the snakes can unite, or that Kundalini energy can unite once again, and we can do away, because we're in this sixth dispensation now. And this sixth dispensation now is saying, look, the 6 days of creation have happened. The six containers of water have been alchemicalized into wine, meaning that plain substance now has been made into something special. So instead of you marrying this cornball, Yeshua showed up and said, no, now you're going to marry you're gonna marry the alpha male of pretty much the galaxy. You see, so that's where we're at. So you're more than welcome, everyone, man. Definitely enjoy the rest of your day. We do have midday affirmation on Clubhouse at noon, but this was just something I wanted to share with you. All right. So everyone, so be well, be safe today, be loving, and yeah, peace.